guys. So this weekend I decided that I would take you along for a little weekend vlog, something relaxing. I'm thinking that we'll do some cooking, some flower arranging, and maybe even some shopping or at least some interior styling. I do need to properly finish up the nursery, which I'm hoping to do in one video, all of the finishing touches, because I think that that would be a good watching experience and it will motivate me to just get it all out of the way. I'm thinking, except for maybe curtains before the baby comes. So I think that maybe we'll work a little bit on the guest bedroom upstairs, because the vibe has come together much more since putting curtains in that room. But it still feels a little bit like a mosh of either things that I bought that I wasn't sure where they were gonna go, or things that we moved with from our old house that I wasn't sure where to put. So I feel like there hasn't been a clear intention with that room. I might even sit down and get some inspo from Pinterest and just sit with it for a little bit. I need to make that feel a little nicer. It sort of feels like an afterthought right now. So I'm excited to take you guys along for a little relaxing weekend vlog, and let's see what we get into. Okay, so I had something arrive in the mail and I did end up going shopping. Bloomingdale's had their home sale. So it was only the home department, which was like cutlery, dinnerware, small appliances, bedding. Not everything was on sale, but a vast majority of things were on sale. Typically, when Bloomingdale's has a sale, I get on and just look for one thing, which is Matuk brand Milagro style bath towels, not the bath sheet, but the bath towel in all white. That's what we have all around the house. It's nice to have more than you need because you don't run through them so fast. So in each bathroom, we probably have 4 to 6 towels. That's just from buying them every time that they're on sale when I see them and remember. And that I think is really nice. And then I rotate between bedrooms because, for instance, it's just my husband and I here, so the guest bedrooms don't get any use, or not that much use, so we sort of rotate like that. I think it's also a good thing to do with your bedding, which actually I think I'm gonna get a different duvet cover. I didn't do it today, but we have a linen duvet cover. I don't like a top sheet, so we just have the fitted sheet and the duvet. I am a die-hard duvet girl. I do not like sleeping in a bed without a duvet. We have duvets, feather down duvets with duvet covers on every single bed in the house. That's just my preference. And I like it without a top sheet. So right now in the master, we have a Belgian linen restoration hardware duvet cover. The duvet itself is from Bloomingdale's too. You go to my shop my under master bedroom, I have all of our master bedroom bedding. And I think I also have I have tagged what we have in the guest rooms in separate folders, but I digress. I'm starting to sort of crave, I don't know if it's with the seasons or what, but a duvet cover in the master that's a little bit more slippery against the skin, like maybe like a sateen or a percale. I'm not sure. I need to do a little bit of research, but I would just get a bright white and then something with a nice like flange, like a nice thick flange along the edge, probably no detailing, something simple, classic, and timeless, and something that if I need to brighten it up, that I can just honestly add a splash of bleach like every 5 washes or something. I'm not a big fan of chemical cleaners, but to brighten up bedding, it really makes a difference. And I can't do that with the linen duvet cover that we currently have because it's off-white from Restoration Hardware. I actually bought it at the outlet, got it for a steal, and I've really loved that. We've been using it for a 1.5 years, but I think it'd be nice to have something else in the mix. And before I even look at buying something new, I do want to organize the bedding and sheets. I bought some nice organizers off of Amazon that sort of like zip into almost like binders, so that you can organize sets together and you can organize by room. We have some bedding that's in the master closet that I think is for our bed, but we were gifted a lot of things through our engagement and our wedding and move-in stuff, like housewarming gifts from people. And I did have a list, and some of the stuff just got boxed up and moved, and I feel like I'm not quite sure what we actually have. So I guess we'll do that in another video. I'll go through and kind of see what we can do for a little upgrade on the bed to make it white and just like something a little bit more slippery. But all that to be said, this time, the Bloomingdale's home sale, I just bought 2 of these, which are down pillows. I bought 2, I think actually the last sale that they had several months back, I got another 2, and they were really good. It was a This Oak House recommendation. And so these went on one of the beds upstairs, and I currently hate my Therapeutic pillow that I have on the master. So I think this is gonna be my new sleeping pillow. I actually looked at this beautiful pillowcase. It's Schumacher and Matuk, this printed pillow, and I really fell in love with it. This was not part of the sale, and so I actually left without it because I was thinking, it's not part of the sale, I don't need to buy it today. And then my mom went and bought it for me anyway. So that was a surprise, but it's this shape. So it's not a Euro, it's more like a standard. And I just wanted one. I really, really love this print. I love the colorway on it. And I know that I want the guest bedroom upstairs to be mostly white with hints of butter yellow. And once I saw this, it has green and like this like golden color in there. I thought that it would be a nice addition. In my last video where I talked about my antique collections, I talked about how these sort of accent colors of the home are mostly French blue, butter yellow, and a little bit of green. And so I felt like this was a good thing to get. I find it really difficult to find patterns that I'm in love with, and this one really just did something for me. So I think it'll be a nice thing to have. I'm not sure if it's like some kind of limited edition something, or if this is what they always have. But my mom saw that I also bought that Sfera brand pillow, so she got the matching or the correct size Sfera pillow for this pillow cover. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put that on the guest bedroom bed upstairs. It's all white in there, white bedding, ivory curtains, ivory rug, and it just needs a little bit of personality. So I think that's what I'll do. And I have one more thing to show you, which just came in the mail. I am absolutely obsessed with Rajiv Surendra's pots. I had very few terracotta pots, and I've just noticed that as time goes on, even the terrain terracotta pots, some of the coloring flakes off, at least of the white ones. And so there's one seller who's local and unlinkable that's a Mediterranean terracotta pot dealer. He imports everything himself. He used to only be on Facebook Marketplace, and now he's made a legitimate business out of it where he has 2 warehouses, and he imports handmade terracotta large scale pots. Like that's what I have on the front porch that you guys have seen from France and the Mediterranean, and they are so beautiful. But for a smaller scale pot, more of an indoor pot, there's nothing like Guy Wolf or Rajiv Surendra. It really is worth the money. They get more beautiful over time. And so this new Rajiv Surendra pot came in. I love the way that he ages them a little bit before they come. He, I guess, sort of did an apprenticeship with Guy Wolf, who's been teaching him for, I want to say like 20 years. It's been a long time. And so now he makes his own, And the 2 on here stands for how much clay is used. So this would be 2 pounds of clay to throw this pot. And I'm just obsessed. This is my second pot from him. The first one I bought last year. It was part of his first drop he ever did. And you really do have to stalk the page when he does his drops, because often the pots are the first thing to go, but they are so beautiful. They're pieces of art, honestly, within themselves. And it just sparks so much joy every time that I use them. The orchid pot is the first one that I bought, so it has little diamond cutouts. And even when I don't have orchids, I leave it out with nothing in it. So those are my couple of little items, and I think it's time to make some dinner. So I'm kind of in the mood to have something like a brothy chicken, something kind of like fresh and gingery. I'm not totally sure, but I'm only cooking for myself tonight. The husband is gone. So I'm thinking to just put on some good music, run to the grocery store, and try to cook something new. So when I get back and I have a game plan, I will pick you guys back up. I'm really craving something brothy and hot that's not a soup. So I'm going to make some chicken thighs the same way that I always do, which is salt, cayenne pepper, paprika, both sides seasoned, and then I cook it in the cast iron on high heat with beef tallow. I use tallow because I cook it on high heat, and if I remember correctly, most oils can't take high heat. I think the max temp they can take is like 325 or maybe 375. Then the white rice, I already have it in a pot. I soaked it for 2 minutes and then rinsed it twice. Put it in the pot. I used this kettle fire chicken broth as the liquid to cook the rice instead of water tonight. And I added an inch long peeled knob of ginger, a pinch of salt, a generous pinch of salt, and 3 whole peeled garlic cloves. I'll pull the ginger and garlic cloves out, but I'm basically going to keep that same like flavor profile that I'm cooking the rice in, and create a broth, a bone broth for the rice and chicken to sit in a bowl together. And then I'm kind of still brainstorming. I feel like that is the base, is like a really nice flavorful base. Would be really good with some of this chili oil drizzled on top. I think it could also be nice with some sprouts, even a fried egg, sauteed mushrooms. Like, I think that there's a lot of different ways you could dress this up. You could also put like sauteed spinach in your rice. You can kind of hide a bunch of different things in there. Top it with avocado. So lemon juice. Anyway, I have a bunch of ideas. So as I'm cooking, I'm going to get a topping plan together and show you what I come up with. But the brothy rice with the chicken thigh base, I think is really nice, versatile, and you can create sort of whatever flavor profile you want using that as the base, and it seems like a really nutritious comfort meal. So let's do this. Okay. The cast iron is hot with tallow, and I just seasoned the chicken thighs with salt, cayenne pepper, and paprika. Okay, I decided I am gonna cook mushrooms. High heat for the skillet, a neutral oil. I'm using this. Once they start cooking down, I will add additional seasoning. I'm just going to cook the mushrooms with a little bit of salt and some coconut aminos to keep the flavor profile as simple as possible. The mushrooms need a little bit of deglazing, so I'm just gonna hit them with some vinegar. You could also use white or red wine if you want, but I always just use vinegar. It's basically the same. So splash of vinegar. Okay, rice is done. Let's make the broth. For the broth, I'm going to use a really high quality beef bone broth. This one's super gelatinous, and I get it from Southwest Ranches. I'm going to add a whole lime, salt, and some ginger. I'm gonna add a lot of ginger. I think that's good. It could use maybe a little bit of garlic, but I'm not gonna add it. And I think some spice, but we're gonna add that at the end when we plate. Rice, bone broth. Mushroom, rice cooked in bone broth, chicken thigh, avocado, and some crunchy chili oil. Wow. I just threw on sweatpants for the first time in like over a month. I have 3 weeks until my due date as of filming this, which my videos are a little bit out of order, so I don't know when you're gonna see this, but wow, it feels good. It feels good to put on a pair of sweatpants. I was about to do some floral arranging, feed myself and feed the dogs, but I just got a delivery and I honestly had to share with you guys before I do any of that. A friend from college messaged me when I first got pregnant and asked for my address, and she just, or I should say it just arrived, a bunch of hand knitted blankets, and honestly it just like makes me want to cry, I'm not gonna lie. It's like the sweetest, most sentimental thing in the world. I think it will have been my last video that I talk about learning things and being passionate about things, not having everything just be about your career or your family, but like really being a more worldly and well-rounded person, like not just travel, but really, really learning and diving into things. And if this doesn't just make you want to like take up a hobby, I don't know what will. I feel like knitting is such a relaxing thing. I'm not sure if you guys follow this Oak House on Instagram, which is Nancy Meyer's daughter's Instagram. She renovated her mother-in-law's house to move into it. She documented the whole process. It kind of went viral along the way. And she was really open about like linking things and sharing things and not gatekeeping, which as we all should, you know. But I guess in the interior design industry, most people gatekeep, which is, I guess it just is what it is. But anyway, so she knits. She doesn't post about it much, but she has like little custom tags that say made with love by Annie or something along those lines. And she'll knit for special occasions like baby clothes and blankets and things. I know actually quite a few people that knit that say that it's extremely relaxing. I have never knitted a thing in my life, but I do love to paint. And if you don't want to get everything out for painting, it's nice to just have like a good coloring book. Like I have a big set actually that I'll link of markers where like the pink section has like 20 different shades of pink and 20 different shades of blue. And so it makes it really fun. Like you can do really intricate coloring just on the couch, you know, as you're watching TV or whatever. And it's really nice for the mind, but it's fun to do things like that, do things with your hand, get off of your electronics. I am a doom scroll hater. Before I started in with this social media, I had on average for years, an hour and a half screen time per week on my phone, which is insane looking back on it, but I also never answered my phone. I was unreachable. I made it a point to really force my brain to get into the flow state, to really focus and get meaningful work done. So I would put my phone on do not disturb in a different room or in a drawer and listen to binaural beats and just lock in. And I learned and created so much. It was some of my most productive years. And so I actually learned a lot about myself during that time, like how I work well and operate. I wasn't going into an office. I was working from home at our rental house. And those skills and lessons have really served me well. Now, when I need to get meaningful work done, it's the same thing. My phone goes away. I guard my time and my energy like it's my job. I won't answer the door if someone knocks. I won't answer my phone. I let my husband know what's going on. I put over-the-ear headphones in. If I need to, I'll put the dogs away so they don't bark, and like I lock in for business. So, wow. That was quite the rant, but these baby blankets, cutest thing ever, so sentimental. We all need to do better, I feel like, about this. During the holidays, I love to give people hostess baskets of homemade things, canned items, even like handwritten recipes for things. And that's always a gift that people love too. But in a world where there's tons of technology, not so much face-to-face socialization, and tons of mass-produced items, something handmade really goes a long way. It's been a while since we have done some flower arranging, but today I went to the store and I really loaded up. I was in the mood for bright colors, and I've still been really loving mono florals, which is just a fancy way of saying each arrangement that you put together just has one species or type of flowers or greenery inside, so they're not mixed arrangements. And I just find that it gives more of a cohesive feel, and it's also less work, but the workload for flower arranging I really don't mind. I feel like if you go and do a big haul of flowers like this, you really need to see it as a creative activity. I see it as it's actually very therapeutic, I think, but it's gonna take about an hour to choose what vases I'm gonna use and to really trim, place, and care for these properly. So you need to be in the mood. It's never good when you go buy tons of flowers and you get home and you're not anticipating how long it will take. It takes some time, so you just have to lock in and enjoy the process. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with these little crystal Tiffany vases, bud vases. These are vintage. They're part of the Metropolitan collection. I like to choose the location and the vase before I decide what flowers are going to be placed in which vessel. So these little bud vases are going to go on the dining room table. And I think I'm gonna add these. Once I find the right stem length, I will keep one out and I will use this to measure the rest. Okay, I'm really dying to use this vase. This vase is Rajiv Surendra, and it's actually an orchid pot. It's not meant for water, it's meant for orchids. So I like to put these ranunculus in this pot for the side table in the living room. And ranunculus are quite droopy, so I'm gonna use a floral frog to place them. I'm gonna put the floral frog inside of this mason jar. And then put this inside. And these, I think I'm gonna make them different heights. Okay guys, that is it for this week's video. If you made it this far, please like this video and comment below because the YouTube algorithm has changed and apparently it's favoring comments now. I'm gonna keep doing videos until I go into labor. So if I end up dropping off the map and you don't see me for a week or two, it's because I had a new baby. And yeah, I have filmed a little bit in advance, so I'm expecting to only have like a 2-week duration without videos because I think that this is sustainable to do, but you never know. I will keep you guys updated on Instagram. Instagram will know first, and I will see you guys for sure next week with another video. Bye.